Not every light fruit tells the same story. While the body rests, the kidneys continue balancing fluid and minerals. A simple fruit before bed may look harmless, but portion, timing, and personal context can change the picture.
So let's dive into this. We usually think of our evening routine as a winding down period, right? A time when our internal systems just sort of power off for the night. But that simply isn't true. While you're asleep, some of your most vital organs are actually stepping into their most critical shift. Your nighttime routine, and that includes whatever you might eat in those hours right before bed, directly influences this quiet, unseen work. It's a highly delicate biological environment, and it really deserves our careful attention.
Section 1. The Nighttime Filtration Room. I want you to imagine a highly sophisticated, completely quiet filtration room. While the rest of your body is fast asleep, your kidneys are essentially functioning as this exact room. They are working tirelessly in the background, regulating your blood pressure and clearing out all the metabolic waste that naturally builds up during your waking hours. This overnight process is absolutely essential for keeping your body's overall equilibrium in check. And the sheer scale of this operation, it's honestly magnificent. Every single day, these two fist-sized organs filter roughly 200 liters of blood. To put that into perspective, that's about 50 gallons of fluid, just constantly being cycled through to remove waste, clear out excess fluid, and ultimately return clean, perfectly balanced blood back into your circulation. It's a monumental task, and the environment we create for our kidneys at night can either really support this process or, unfortunately, unknowingly hinder it. Moving on to Section 2, the healthy fruit misunderstanding. Now, there is a really fascinating biological tension here. We all know that antioxidants from fruit are broadly considered healthy, right? They help reduce chronic inflammation throughout our entire body. But for anyone whose kidneys are working under a bit of strain, simply eating what everyone else calls healthy isn't always the right move. You see, if kidneys are weakened, they can actually struggle to process and remove excess potassium. And that can potentially lead to a dangerous condition called hyperkalemia, where potassium levels in the blood get way too high. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding this contrast. Many of the richest, most famous sources of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, we're talking bananas, oranges, kiwi, avocados, are also incredibly high in potassium. They literally challenge a weakened kidney's ability to filter out that mineral. The solution? Well, it's finding alternatives that provide those necessary kidney-supporting antioxidants, but without delivering that dangerous potassium burden. Which brings us to Section 3, a closer look. Tart cherries. Tart cherries, and specifically, we're talking about the sour or Montmorency varieties, hold a very unique position when it comes to our nighttime biology. They naturally contain something called phytomelatonin. This is a plant-based compound that may actually contribute to supporting a healthy circadian sleep cycle. It's a completely natural way to potentially signal to your body that, hey, it's time to transition into a state of deep restorative rest. And here is exactly why they fit so perfectly into that kidney tension we were just talking about. A standard half-cup serving of these tart cherries contains less than 200 milligrams of potassium. In the nutrition world, that classifies it as a low-potassium food. This means you can potentially deliver these essential phytochemicals and antioxidants straight into your system without overwhelming your body's filtration room with a massive potassium load. Let's look at Section 4, Mechanics of Nocturnal Dipping. Sleep isn't just about waking up feeling mentally rested. It is a mechanical necessity for your blood vessels. There's this process called nocturnal dipping, which is the natural drop in blood pressure that is absolutely supposed to happen while you sleep. But when your sleep is disrupted or fragmented, that crucial pressure drop just doesn't happen properly. As a result, your kidneys are forced to absorb hours of sustained, higher pressure all through the night. And over time, that constant physical stress can cause some real damage to those delicate filtering vessels. This is where the biological chain reaction becomes super clear. When your sleep cycles stabilize, which could potentially be aided by the anti-inflammatory compounds and phytomelatonin found in things like tart cherries, your blood pressure is finally given the opportunity to drop naturally. Because of that dip, the kidneys absorb far less pressure stress. And when that physical stress is reduced, well, the quiet overnight filtration process is directly supported. It literally all connects right back to the quality of your rest. Section 5. Portion, timing, and context. Now remember, this is entirely about a measured contextual routine. We're not talking about some sort of miracle cure here. If you're actually considering adding this support, the timing really matters. The context suggested by the research generally points to consuming a half to 1 cup of sour tart cherries, or maybe 4 to 8 ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice, roughly 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed.
It's all about giving your body the proper runway to process those nutrients smoothly as you start to wind down. What's really fascinating here is how we can safely layer these benefits. Tart cherries don't have to exist in a vacuum. Because they are low in potassium, they can carefully be paired with other low potassium options. Blueberries, for instance, offer powerful anthocyanins in just a half-cup portion. Strawberries provide significant vitamin C with an incredibly low potassium footprint. So it really becomes about crafting a supportive nutritional profile rather than just relying on a single magic item. And there are other specific, contextual fruits that can fit beautifully into this evening environment. Apples offer essential fiber that may help stabilize your blood sugar overnight. Red or purple grapes deliver resveratrol, and freezing them can actually be incredibly helpful for anyone managing strict fluid restrictions. Raspberries bring high fiber to support your gut microbiome. Pineapple offers bromelain, which is a documented anti-inflammatory enzyme. And cranberries may offer modest urinary tract support. But, and this is critical, guys, they must be completely unsweetened. Those sweetened cranberry juice cocktails contain so much sugar that they can actively work against your kidney health.
Section 6. Finding your personal balance.
The fundamental truth in all of this explainer is that while everything we discussed is broadly considered kidney-friendly, general terms are never a substitute for individual terms. Depending on the context of your specific health, especially if you're managing advanced stages of kidney disease, you might be working with very strict, individualized potassium and phosphorus budgets. What is perfectly safe for one person's filtration room might be a real burden for another's. You simply cannot make informed dietary choices without knowing your own internal data. Requesting a basic metabolic panel gives you a really clear picture of your creatinine, your eGFR, and your specific electrolyte levels, including that all-important potassium. This is the foundational context that you and your healthcare team absolutely need before altering any of your routines. When that personal balance is found with a professional's guidance, the mindset shift can be truly profound. Clinical insights show that when people establish the right, safe bedtime routine, it shifts their whole perspective. It moves them away from the anxiety of painful dietary restrictions, and it becomes an act of proactive, satisfying nourishment. It becomes something positive you're doing for your body while it rests. Which brings us to our most important reminder. The concepts we've explored today are purely informational. They are just meant to help you understand the remarkable mechanisms inside your body. You should never change medications, diets, supplements, or treatments on your own without directly consulting a qualified kidney dietitian or your medical doctor. Your health context is unique, and your care should be too. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the hidden tension of potassium to the mechanics of nighttime blood pressure, and how something as simple as a measured portion of tart cherries might interact with your body's deeply complex systems. So I'll leave you with this thought to reflect on tonight. How does your nighttime routine support your quiet filtration room? It might just be a question worth discussing at your next doctor's appointment.